Hi there, guys. I'm Hendriks. Welcome to our podcast. We are attorneys practicing as such at Schoeman-Louw Inc. in Cape Town and Paarl. Employment terminations can be tricky, but mutual separation agreements, MSAs, provide a way to part amicably. Robyn Shepherd and Nicolene Schoeman-Louw are here to break down this with us today. Robyn, can you please explain to us what is a MSA, a mutual separation agreement, and why is it such a useful tool?
Thank you so much for the question, Ross. A mutual separation agreement is an agreement between the employer and the employee to end a relationship. And this ensures that both parties agree on the terms of the separation. It avoids lengthy disputes between the parties and it protects the confidentiality of the separation. And this also ensures that neither party can claim any wrongdoing or any irregularity, as well as possibly claiming for unfair dismissal, either at the CCMA or bargaining council, or having any recourse taking the matter further to the labor court. It's a really useful tool, and again, it's really there to just regulate the ending of the relationship between the employer and the employee. And on that point, Nicolene, can you tell us what are the legal pitfalls to watch out for when it comes to a mutual separation agreement?
Thank you so much, Robyn. I think to add on to what you've already said, a mutual separation agreement is a key tool, obviously, to curtail costs and potential for dispute and wastage of time and resources and all these things. But I also think importantly, it really maintains a sense of dignity in how the relationship is ended. That is often lost in the sense of a dispute process being followed where the emotions are high, and following that process we walk out with war stories on either side. And I think this is a great tool for not having that backlash. And with that said, yes, we need to tick the boxes. We need to make sure that we are not trying to contract away from our legal obligations prescribed by the Labor Relations Act and Basic Conditions of Employment Act. We need to make sure that what we include in that agreement is absolutely legally allowable or enforceable. We need to provide for aspects like confidentiality, to protect the good name and reputation of both parties, which is really why I wanted to mention it provides a sense of a dignified exit, making sure that, yes, our relationship didn't work out, but we don't have to leave a trail of carnage behind us as we exit and going forward. Let's just go our separate ways, and let's do it in a way that just sets both parties up for moving forward. It needs to tick the boxes, and it needs to protect the business, and it needs to protect the employee. Now, often we see that a reference letter is one of the key aspects that we agree to in these agreements. And I think as employers, we need to be careful what we promise in relation to that. Yes, of course, we're obliged to give a certificate of service. We're obliged by law to do that. But a reference letter really goes to the character of a person. And if it's been particularly hairy, getting to the point of going our separate ways amicably, if something really bad happened between us to cause the ending of the relationship, I think that becomes very difficult to actually promise the other person. Rather say that we undertake to give a neutral or a positive reference if called upon, rather than stipulating the contents of the letter. So those would be some practical points that I think would be useful from my perspective to consider. But Ross, I think over to you as we end off the session. What advice would you give businesses wanting to use this valuable tool?
Thank you, Nicolene. So the advice that I can give to businesses, I mean, just to add on to what you and Robyn have already said, I think it's important for businesses to know that there are challenges and there can be resistance when making use of a mutual separation agreement. And as much as there are advantages to a mutual separation agreement, uh, businesses utilizing this agreement can encounter resistance, and the resistance is normally due to a matter of principle, where either the employer or the employee may prefer litigation to uphold values such as a zero tolerance for misconduct or exposing systematic workplace issues. Other challenges that can arise is you want to set a specific precedent. The employers may seek to set disciplinary standards that discourage similar behavior from other employees. And there will be issues maybe along confidence in the merits. A lot of employers or employees believe that they have there's a strong belief in their case, and they will rather pursue it on a formal basis rather than settling. And obviously, and I think what is also an important aspect to take into consideration is that there, especially from an employee's point of view, is that there is a fear of misrepresentation. Because proposing a mutual separation agreement might seem as an admission of some sort of guilt, which led to your now termination. And the advice that I can give to businesses is that with mutual separations agreements is that you need to consult with a legal professional, so that we can essentially deal with these risks, these challenges and resistance that may potentially arise. As with there is a practical guideline within which to carry out the mutual separation agreement, and that's normally to have discussions on a without prejudice basis, so that we can essentially record these discussions. Not it's off record, but essentially it opens a dialogue without fear on both ends to discuss on what terms you can essentially terminate or end the contractual agreement between the parties. This way, there is a possibility, well, it ensures clarity between the parties, essentially what are the exact timelines that we're dealing with, what are the precise terms of the termination, what is the date, and you can also deal with the issue of confidentiality between the parties. By utilizing a legal representative, we help identify the risks and ensure compliance with labor law. Because there are instances where we have to deal with the ethical considerations and misuse of a mutual separation agreement. And while mutual separations agreement can foster ethical resolutions between the parties, that they can often also be exploited as vehicles for concealment. So high-profile matters involving golden handshakes or confidentiality clauses can often mask corruption or misconduct, and the courts can nullify mutual separation agreement entered into bad faith, emphasizing the need for transparency and adherence with public policy. So on that basis, I would say it is important for employers who have the intention of entering into a mutual separation agreement with an employee to consult with a legal representative for this very reason, to ensure that we can cover all your risks as much as or as far as possible, to ensure that the agreement itself is enforceable. But thank you everyone for joining. Please like, share, and comment in the box below. Should you have any suggestions, please feel free to let us have them. And please join us for our next episode.